a song about my favorite American hero. He didn't make the book Heroes of a Texas Childhood because he wasn't from Texas. He was from Arizona. And someone last night, where the hell were we last night?
Carlsruhe.
Where?
Karlsruhe.
Karlsruhe, yeah. How'd you say that? Karlsruhe? Karlsruhe. Yeah. A guy came up to me after the show and he says, you know, tonight is the anniversary of 70 years since the battle that drunken Ira Hayes fought in when he was only 17. And that's the anniversary of the Battle of Iwo Jima. And of course, most Americans couldn't even pronounce most of these islands in the Pacific, but Iwo Jima became very famous. And Ira Hayes became a real hero after the war. And this is the true story of what happened to Ira. It was a song written by Peter Lafarge, a Native American, who killed himself the same year he wrote this song. And it was picked up by another Native American named Patrick Skye, who did the version kind of that I descend from. And then Townes Van Zandt and Johnny Cash have also both recorded the song. I don't know too many others who have. Some say Bob Dylan has a version of it. Does anybody know? Got a real Bob Dylan nut here who knows whether Bob is recorded? I don't think he has. At any rate, it's the true story of what happened to Ira Hayes. Gather round me, people, a story I will tell about a brave young Indian lad you should remember well. From a tribe of Pima Indians, a proud and peaceful band. They farmed the Phoenix Valley out in Arizona land. Down their ditches, for 1,000 years the sparkling water rushed, till the white man stole their water rights and the running water hushed. Ira's folks was hungry, their fields grew thick with weeds. But when war came, Ira volunteered and forgot the white man's greed. Calling drunken Ira Hayes, he won't answer anymore. Not that whiskey drinking Indian or Marine who went to war. Well, they battled up Iwo Jima Hill, 250 men. But only 27 lived to walk back down again. And after the fight was over, in Old Glory proudly raised, among the men who held her high was an Indian, Ira Hayes. Call him drunken Ira Hayes, he won't answer anymore. Not that whiskey drinking Indian or Marine who went to war. Well, Ira Hayes returned a hero, celebrated throughout the land. He was wined and speeched and honored. Hell, everybody shook his hand. But he's just a Pima Indian. No food, no friend, no chance. And back home, nobody cared what Ira did. And when do the Indians dance? Well, Ira took to drinking hard. jail often was his home. They used to let him raise the flag there and lower it, just like he'd throw a dog a bone. And Ira died, drunk, early one morning. All alone in the land he'd fought to save. 2 inches of water in a lonely ditch was a grave for Ira Hayes. Call him drunken Ira Hayes, he won't answer anymore. Not that whiskey drinking Indian or Marine who went to war. Yeah, call him drunken Ira Hayes, but his land is still as dry. And his ghost, well, it's lying there thirsty in the ditch where Ira died. Call him drunken Ira Hayes, he won't answer anymore. Not that whiskey drinking Indian or Marine went to war. Let's fast forward to 1996, folks. I was in South Africa doing a television show, promoting a book called God Bless John Wayne. And the show was hosted by Dolly Tombo, who happened to be Oliver Tombo's son. Oliver Tombo was Mandela's mentor. Oliver died when Mandela was in prison on Robben Island. So a guy came up to me, another guest on the show, and he says his name is Tokyo, like the city, Sexwale, spelled sex whale. And he has to talk to me right after the show. Very important. So I go over to this guy, and he says, you know, Kinky, he says, I am Nelson Mandela's right-hand man. And I have been since way before he was in Robben Island. But I was in the cell right next to him for the whole 17 years. Then he said, you know, Mandela is a big fan of yours, Kinky. I want you to know that. And I said, oh, Jesus, that's great. What is it? Which book is it? You know, he said, it's not the books at all. It's the music. And then he proceeded to tell me that every night Mandela would play the song on a smuggled tape cassette, which was all they could get hold of, the song Ride 'em Jewboy. And he played it sometimes 2 times. But it would be very late at night, the last thing he would usually do. Now, when I heard that, it was like very surreal. Like later, when I talked to some kid at the Huffington Post on an interview, he told me, he said, you know, Kinky, if I had a choice of being making $1 million, you know, playing at all these stadiums, being a famous rock star, or I could know that I wrote a song that Nelson Mandela listened to every night in his prison cell on Robben Island, I would be the second guy. I would be you. That's a bigger thing. And, you know, I wasn't sure how I felt about all this. And then Tokyo told me, he says, Kinky, you are not Mandela's favorite singer. He said his favorite singer was Dolly Parton. When he said that, I knew this guy is telling me the truth. It's very human. And I wondered about this, and I would just say this. Mandela was a lawyer. He couldn't get into a law firm in South Africa because he was black. Finally, the Jews took him in Johannesburg. And the Jewish law firm was very radical, very left-wing guys. And they loved Mandela. They told him, Stay out of trouble. Don't be a troublemaker. Don't get into politics. You'll be the most famous black lawyer in all of Africa. Fortunately for all of us, Mandela did not listen to them. But he spent more than a third of his long life in prison. And I must say, you never know when you record a record, as I did in 1973 in Nashville, who's going to hear it. But you surely never think that Nelson Mandela is going to listen to this in his prison cell on Robben Island. So here's to that fraternity of men: Jesus, Gandhi, Martin Luther King, and Nelson Mandela, off of whom more inspiration flows today than probably any political leader that we have. So we've heard Bill Clinton's favorite Kinky Friedman song, and this is Mandela's favorite Kinky song. Jewboy, ride 'em all around the old corral. I'm with you, boy. If I've got to ride 6 million miles, now the smoke from camps are rising. See the helpless creatures on the way. Hey, old pal, ain't it surprising how far you can go before you stay? How long will you be driven relentless around the world? The blood in the rhythm of the soul. Wild ponies, all your dreams were broken, rounded up and made to move along. The loneliness which can't be spoken just swings a rope and rides inside a song. And dead limbs play with ringless fingers, a melody which burns you deep inside. Oh, how the song becomes the singer's. May peace be ever with you as you ride. How long will you be driven relentless around the world? The blood and the rhythm of the soul. In the wind, dough candles glowing, remind you that today you are a child. The road ahead, forever rolling, and anything worth crying can be smiled. So ride with you, boy. Ride 'em all around the old corral. I'm with you, boy. If I've got to ride 6 million